Hello, lovely people. You have a new document pushed out to you today that is called Of Mice and Men Essay Organization. And this is basically a template to demystify essay writing and help you with organization in an essay. So this template has been made to help you organize your essay. You will use these pages as a resource for your rough draft. You will complete one paragraph at a time and receive feedback along the way. Your final draft will use MLA format and will be transferred to a different document. At that point, I'll show you how to do that. So you'll see in here that you have a spot for your introduction, as well as how you will be scored for your introduction. On the next page, you will see a body paragraph, as well as at the end of body paragraph number 1 and body paragraph number 2, you will see a scoring rubric for each body paragraph. And then you will have a place to write your conclusion. And at the end of that, there is a scoring rubric for the conclusion. The idea behind this whole template is that you will be able to try things out and make mistakes here. I will provide you feedback, and then when you actually submit your final essay, you already will have gotten feedback from me on every single aspect of it. The reason that it's so important that you use this tool is that then when you turn in your essay, you will pass competency the first time. And by turning in everything on time, you can guarantee that you will have my attention to provide you feedback while you're waiting to move to the next step. So today we are just going to focus on introduction, and then the next essay or the next lesson will be on your body paragraph, and the one after that will be on conclusion. So let's talk about an introduction. So the first task you are tasked with is to write an introduction to your essay. Your introduction needs to be a minimum of 3 sentences and include a grabber, a transition, and a main claim. Now, if you look here, we have those sections: grabber, bridge, and main claim. So the grabber is basically 1 or 2 broad sentences about the essay topic that interests the reader. And what I suggest you do, and the reason I had you find quotes before, is that you may use a quote related to your topic. I'll show you how I do this for my own essay. Then you have a bridge. What the bridge does is it connects the grabber to your main claim. And it gives background information and details about your topic, and it's usually about 1 to 2 sentences. Literally, the bridge is a bridge between the grabber and the main claim. So think of it as linking these two together so that it sounds like a cohesive introduction. And then you have your main claim. If you wrote your main claim on time and you got feedback from me, you are done with this sentence and you're going to simply copy and paste it right into here. So let me show you how to do this step by step. First, I want you to, before we begin, I want you to open up another document. I want you to go back to your OMAM essay prep and put that document and this document side by side. So pause the video while you do so. If you paused your video and you went to get the 2 documents, you should have your Of Mice and Men essay prep on one side and your Of Mice and Men essay organization on the other side. I want to start with our main claim because on this document you already have that main claim. So I want you to go down to the very bottom. This is our subclaim page. Go back to the main claim page. And you should already have written a main claim and gotten feedback from me. So I literally want you to copy the main claim that you've gotten feedback on, and you're going to put it directly in this box. Done. Okay, part of your introduction is already written. Then I want you to focus on your grabber. So if you go up to where you did quotes, which was task number 3, that's the ones here, you have to choose which quote you would like to use. I'm going to make my document a little bit bigger so you can see it a little bit better. So the quotes that I chose, the first one was, "When the whole world is silent, even one voice becomes powerful." The second one I chose was, "Strong people stand up for themselves, but stronger people stand up for others." And the last one was, "Fight for the things you care about, but do it in a way that will lead others to join you." Now, before I pick one of these, I want to revisit what I'm writing about in my main claim. Because if I can identify where I think I might be heading with my the rest of my essay, then choosing this quote and one that will work for my essay will be easier. So I go back and I read my main claim. In the novella Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck, Slim is the most powerful character because he is courageous enough to challenge people who have more power than he does in order to do what is right, and he is respected by his peers for the empathy he demonstrates in moments of great tension. Okay, let me go back here. When the world is silent, even one voice becomes powerful. That one could work, but I'm not sure if it completely encapsulates what SLIM is all about in my examples. Then I have the option, strong people stand up for themselves, but stronger people stand up for others. That one would work really well because I have an example of him standing up, challenging people that have more power than he does in order to do what's right. And I also have him having respect from others because he shows empathy. You know, he helps the people who are powerless become powerful in some way or have a voice. Another one, the next one would be fight for things you care about, but do it in a way that will lead others to join you. This last part works really well for this example, I think, my second example, but I don't know if it works as well for my first one. I think I'm going to pick this one. So what I will do is, this is what you guys are going to do. You're going to take the quote and you're going to copy it directly into your grabber. But you're not done. That sentence isn't done because I also asked you to choose some information and background about this person. So you should have in here some background information about who said this quote so that you don't just plop the quote on the page all by itself, but you actually have some kind of background information about who said it. So I'm going to copy that information that I have and I'm going to choose to put it before the quote so that it's kind of a lead-in into the quote. But then I am going to make that sound like a sentence because it doesn't sound like a very good one quite yet, but it absolutely will soon. Once you've chosen your quote that you're going to use from here and you've gotten the background information and transferred it over, you really don't need this document anymore for your introduction. So you're welcome to go ahead and close that document or at least make this document that you're working on larger so that you can use your whole screen and you don't feel like you're squinting the whole time. I'm old. I like to make my things bigger. So I'll make it 125 to show you exactly what I would do. So this doesn't make sense exactly as it is. It says Suzy Kassem is an American writer, poet, philosopher, multifaceted artist, and graduate of Harvard University. Strong people stand up for themselves, but stronger people stand up for others. That makes no sense the way that it is. So there's a really easy way for me to fix it though. If I put Suzy Kassem, comma, take out the word is, it's already sounding better. Suzy Kassem, an American writer, poet, philosopher, multifaceted artist, and graduate of Harvard University. And then I can say, once stated, okay? And if you have information about when they said this, like the context, you can certainly add that, okay? And I'm going to put a comma. And then I have the quote, strong people stand up for themselves, but stronger people stand up for others. I'm done with the grabber. That's all I have to do. Now there's a lot of other ways that you can do a grabber, but since we went ahead and picked quotes, feel free to do that. Now if the quote that you picked you don't like, now that you've chosen your character, you are absolutely welcome to change it. Do not feel like you have to use the quote that has been provided to you because it might not work for your essay. So make sure you pick one that works for you. Now comes the tricky part. I somehow have to connect this quote to what I am saying here. So what I think about is this part, stronger people stand up for others, because I think that relates to him standing up against Curly, people who have more power, because he's trying to do what's right. And I also think that has to do with how he's respected by his peers, and he stands up for them when there's moments of great tension. So I think that these two relate in that way. And so what I'm going to do is use a part of what is said here to connect it to this section right here. So I'm going to say Kassem's, I don't have to say her first and last name again, Kassem's suggestion that, and I'm going to copy the second part of the quote, stronger people stand up for others, is especially important. When a person is advocating for others, when the person who is advocating for others is in a position of power. And I'm putting that because this whole essay is about people being in power and how they use that power, and I'm trying to argue that Slim is the most powerful character and why. So I'm bridging it by saying these two things, but I'm not quite done. Let me make sure this makes sense. Kasem's suggestion that stronger people stand up for others is especially important when the person who is advocating for others is in a position of power. Yeah, but I'm also going to add another sentence. I'm going to say that people who use their influence to lift others who have less influence. And I might want to say are people to be admired, or are people who are to be commended. Kasem's suggestion that stronger people stand up for others is especially important when the person who is advocating for others is in a position of power. People who use their influence to lift others who have less influence, are to be admired. Actually, no, I like commended better. Okay, so I'm done. I've written my entire introduction because I already had parts of it ready to go. I'm changing this all to the same font, 12 Cambria. But I am now ready for someone to look at it. So I'm going to read through it really quick just to make sure it all makes sense, and then show you how it will be scored. Susie Kasem, an American writer, poet, philosopher, multifaceted artist, and graduate of Harvard University, once stated, "Strong people stand up for themselves, but stronger people stand up for others." Kasem's suggestion that stronger people stand up for others is especially important when the person who is advocating for others is in a position of power. People who use their influence to lift others who have less influence are to be commended. In the novella of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck, Slim is the most powerful character because he is courageous enough to challenge people who have more power than he does in order to do what's right, and he is respected by his peers for the empathy he demonstrates in moments of great tension. Bada bang, bada boom, done. Okay? Now, if I was to read this one and I was to look down here at the scoring rubric, I would be looking for how this person did in the rubric, and I would hope that they would get a 5. So let's see what a 5 entails. The introduction contains 3 parts: the grabber, the bridge, and the main claim. Notice that for 5, 4, and 3, you have to have all 3 components. So just to be at a 3, which is adequate, you have to have all 3 components. Okay, so that's the very minimum. The grabber is insightful, original, and engaging. Where this one, it's like solid, but might need to be developed more. This one is needs more development or could be rephrased. The bridge logically joins the grabber and main claim. The bridge joins it, but this one, it logically joins it. And then the one says the bridge should join the grabber and main claim, but this bridge might not. Okay, so it's supposed to, but maybe it's not quite there yet. Also, the main claim identifies either powerful or powerless characters and includes the subject, opinion, reasons, the title of the book, and the author's name. You'll notice that this one says exactly the same thing, and this one says the same thing. So the main claim should be solid because of your previous assignment, and so hopefully the main claim is good, and really it's just about working on your grabber and your bridge and trying to make it in the 5 or the excellent category. This is the bare minimum to meet competency. But you'll notice that if you get a 2, it means that it's lacking and you are missing a component, or one part needs major development. Like you might have one part that's really good, but another part needs major development. If you get a 1, that's because you're missing 2 parts. You've only put 1 part in there. And a 0 is you haven't attempted the assignment. So anyway, go ahead and write your introduction, and I will be looking at it as soon as you turn it in.